going on YouTube? It's your boy Vince, and today we are back with another reaction. Today we're reacting to where are mukbang YouTubers today. Now let me explain something. There are two sides on the mukbang YouTuber spectrum. On one side, you have your normal mukbang YouTubers, where they eat their meals like normal people. They use a napkin, eat regular sized portions, slurp their juice accordingly. They do regular stuff. This is your average meal eater. And then on the other side of the spectrum, there's this.
Oh my God!
Oh! I had to come back from the editing side to tell y'all how dirty that was. I'm appalled.
Wow.
I don't care what nobody say. 30 of the world's smartest scientists come to me right now, present facts, hypotheses, conclusions, can do all this and show it to my face, and I would still stand on that is disgusting. It's dirty, trifling, and ignorant. You're a slob.
Hell!
Like, why are y'all eating y'all food like that? And what makes it worse is they got their mic in their mouth too while they eating, talking about come on, bro. No, that ain't it, bro. That ain't it. So if you haven't prepared yourself, prepare yourself now, because best believe they're gonna be showing us that side of the spectrum, the nasty side. Prepare to be nasty. Prepare to be disgusted. If you were eating before this, I'm sorry. If you're watching this while eating, I don't know how you keep eating. You must really be hungry, but it's dirty. So we're finna get into this video and see where are mukbang YouTubers today. So let's get into it. Let's go.
Over the past decade, mukbang videos on YouTube have become mainstream, enough to get an entire segment in the YouTube Rewind in 2018.
That's
These
wild.
videos consist of people eating mountains of food, from noodles to McDonald's to even live animals. These videos, often extending over an hour, not only amass millions of viewers,
Did you say
but
live
also
animals?
show just how bad the fat acceptance movement has become. You see, over the last few years, it's now become normal to see plus-sized models almost everywhere, shop mannequins being plus-sized, regular-sized model posters being taken down for being fat-phobic, all the while obesity rates across the West skyrocket, as our populations become poisoned from seed oils, processed food, and sedentary lifestyles. And whilst the fat acceptance movement continued to grow, so too did the mukbang trend, a trend of stuffing your face until you feel so physically ill that you can't continue eating and posting this to an online audience. And over time, the mainstream media and these kinds of people are trying to make it seem that excessive eating is not only acceptable, but also an attractive, healthy lifestyle. Hedonistic.
And that's where I'm drawing the line. You're not gonna sit here and make me say, oh, I like this.
Bruh.
No, I do not like this. Come on, bro. No. You're not gonna cancel me for saying I don't want to go on a date with her. She's 300 pounds. I'm sorry. If you're 5'1", 300 pounds, we're not going to eat. We're not going to dinner because I know that bill is gonna be skyrocketed through the roof. You're gonna order everything on the menu, and I'm gonna be broke. I think I'm good on that. You too big.
And the blocking of your arteries as a virtue. But then fast forward a few years, and after this movement took hold of the West, the results of this have become clear, and it's utterly tragic. And so in this video, we're going to be going over where these mukbang influencers ended up, starting with Nikado Avocado. It would be impossible to make a video about mukbangs and not talk about Nikado Avocado, aka Nicholas Perry.
Look how little he used to be.
He is the perfect example of everything wrong with mukbang videos. You see, Nikado Avocado started making mukbang videos back in 2016, and yet it was never really meant to be something he'd do regularly. In fact, he was a vegan, and most of his videos were just regular vlogs with the occasional violin videos thrown in there. He was a pioneer for healthy living, taking on a vegan lifestyle. But because of this, the content he was producing just felt boring. The views were slow, because he was a nobody talking to a camera about veganism while traveling Colombia. There's thousands of people doing the exact same thing as him. So how was he supposed to gain attraction by just being a regular guy making videos without any skill? He knew he had to change something, find a growing untapped niche that he could ride the wave of. On YouTube, almost all the top people have to find trends they can jump on better than anybody else. And it just so happened that over the Pacific, mukbang videos were spreading like wildfire in South Korea. But you might be asking, why? Why would anyone want to watch someone stuff their face with food? What's the point of these videos? Well, unsurprisingly, mukbangs actually originated from the growing loneliness epidemic in South Korean culture. With people being pushed away from local communities and into giant urban sprawls like Seoul, they increasingly turn to others online to find some sense of belonging in their empty lives. And as more and more people eat by themselves, empty, alone, and isolated, influencers found that just eating on camera while the viewer eats was enough to provide them some crumb of comfort in their lonely existence.
And you know what I think? We can go however deep we want to go into it. We can do all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Really look into it, really like analyze why this is going on, but I think it all just boils down to y'all have weird fetishes. I'm sorry, like it's nasty. Like if you sitting here watching somebody eat like this and not say a word, bro, you got some weird fetishes going on that we don't know about, and I don't think I want to be around you anymore. That's kind of weird.
Instead of family gatherings, friends, and community, people more and more found themselves alone, eating Uber Eats in their pods, whilst trying to distract their gaping sense of dread every single night. And if escape meant some random influencer stuffing their face with disgusting slop, so be it. But it wasn't just South Koreans living this kind of lifestyle. More and more of the West found itself in the same depressing direction, and yet there was still no real good influencers doing mukbang videos. And that's when it became clear to Nikado that there was a gap in the market. And so on October 15th, 2016, Nikado would embark on a journey that ended up costing his entire life and reputation. In his first mukbang video, Nikado just ate a slightly larger than normal vegan meal behind the camera. This was just him having fun, and it was only meant to be a one-off video. And yet to his surprise, the video took off quickly, becoming one of the most popular videos he's ever uploaded. His comments in the next few videos were filled with requests for more mukbangs. It was a slippery slope, as from there he'd eventually upload another mukbang video, then another, and another, until his entire channel became focused on eating as much as he possibly could. His transition to mukbang was not just a change in dietary preference, but a complete overhaul of his online persona. Knowing his audience loved drama, he'd lean into it. He would take toxicity to the next level. He'd constantly brag about how healthy it was, and yet anybody in their dog could see that was far from the truth. It was just another lie of the fat acceptance movement, as it was becoming clear the once young and healthy Nicholas Perry was transforming into an overtly obese narcissistic man.
Look how little he was.
A single year. And yet he now had hundreds of thousands in his bank account and a giant following. What could go wrong? He could always just diet later, right? I mean, this was at the very same time that the fat acceptance movement gripped the corporate American narrative, the any size is beautiful mentality, and if you disagree with the sentiment, you'd be a fat-shaming bigot.
I don't disagree with it, and I don't agree with fat shaming. Like, I don't think people should be shamed over their weight, but I think it's wrong to try to force that on everybody and be like, hey, like, you know, this is what we need to push. We need to, you know, put them on a pedestal because they're obese. Like they ate a lot, so let's, you know what I'm saying, put them on a pedestal and be like, oh, we like your body. Like, nah, I don't know, that ain't it to me. So I like, that's where I stand on it. Like, I'm like not too far fat shame and not too far fat acceptance. I'm somewhere in the middle. Like, I think if you want to be big on your own time. Like, I don't think it's smart to like promote it, the benefits of it. Like why would you promote that? You're not gonna promote cigarettes. Oh well, they do promote cigarettes, but I don't know. Like, I just feel like it comes with so many health defects and stuff, and it's not healthy. And for it to be promoted is kind of weird.
Probably because by this point, 1/3 of American adults were already clinically obese. So if companies wanted to market well, they would target fat people, claiming it was healthy, doing everything they could to make obese people feel an affinity to these companies. And Nikado was the perfect pawn. Besides, this was the time when idiocracy became reality, and plus-size models propped up in all corners of the corporate media. And so of course, this was around the same time that Nikado decided to abandon his veganism journey to continue running on the hedonistic treadmill to oblivion. Ostensibly, he explained that the change in diet was because veganism came with numerous health issues.
Is that vegan? Is that vegan too? Oh, now I have to vegan. Oh, it's annoying. If you're deficient in something, it doesn't matter how much you tell yourself, well, I'm going to do it for the animals. I'm going to do it to save the environment, save the trees. The poor trees are being chopped down for cows right now. I need to just, you can't be deficient for that long for the trees or for the cows. Does that make sense biologically?
Shut up.
Does that make sense?
An ironic claim considering his new diet consisted of donuts, nuggets, and pizza.
I don't like him, y'all.
The reason for this diet change was most likely based on the fact that he could make bank and become a beacon of corporate media advertising if he too promoted this fat acceptance movement. And so he went full steam ahead, stuffing his gob with anything and everything he could fit into his mouth, quickly going from 115 pounds to 400 pounds. But he would tell his viewers this was okay and that he'd go and lose some weight, but that wouldn't be as easy as it sounded. His appetite was already humongous, and he was so ingrained into the culture of mukbangs that it would be almost impossible to break free, and so things would only get worse from here. Aside from watching him get fatter and fatter, his viewers were first-hand witnesses to the decline of his mental and physical health. Almost all of his videos were filled with some sort of emotional breakdown, crying spells, and toxicity.
Put it down. Oh, it's my finger. You got a break.
It's just cringy.
Quote, I'm just like, well, f it. Everyone already hates me. I'm already dramatic. Let me just grab the camera and film it. They like when I'm upset. They like when I'm crying. They like when I'm hyper. And whilst this is probably true, you still might be thinking, why did he continue? He knew by this point that this fat acceptance movement was not only destroying his body, mind and soul, but millions of others across the world. And yet in a cruel twist of fate, the more pain, the more abandoning of his morals, and decline in his entire being, the more views and money he made. So in a world where money, views, and followers deem your supposed value, it seemed worth sacrificing his morality for more greed.
Yeah.
And why would he think any different when the entire culture surrounding him was cheering him on? And so of course, it's easy to understand
Look
why
at this, bro. They're not even eating anymore. They're not eating the food. They're not even eating it. It's on their faces, bro. That's you want to eat. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, eat all you want to. By all means, record yourself eating. But you don't have to do all this, bro. Like, that's where I draw a line. It's disgusting. Now, imagine if I was watching this while eating. I'm not gonna want to eat anymore. I lost my appetite. Thanks a lot. Now I'm starving. Come on, bro.
His less than healthy relationship with his husband, Orlin. The pair would kiss each other on camera and seem to love each other, but fight and scream at each other a few minutes later. And yes, this was probably a desperate move for more engagement with the video. Although the pair did seem to have an on and off relationship outside of the cameras. There seems to be a constant stream of videos on his channel indicating the end of their relationship. There's even a brief moment when Ricardo introduces his new boyfriend, but he seems to always end up back with Orlin. The pair even got divorced according to Perry, but in his most recent video, Orlin is suddenly back, and the pair are exchanging kisses once again. Which makes this whole thing just seem as fake as his entire artificial existence. But it is interesting the reasons why their supposed relationship seemed to be falling apart. As is true for many people across the world, his failing relationship was due to his unhealthy lifestyle, as this constant overeating, obesity, and decline in testosterone caused him erectile dysfunction and a loss of libido. Aside from the fat he'd put on, this did come to be one of the first signs of Ricardo's massive health issues. He even admitted to having a vitamin B12 deficiency, tooth decay, and low blood sugar. He'd even need a breathalyzer in some of his videos to make it through these meals. It's absolutely repulsive.
That's sad.
And it's something that more and more fat pride activists are now facing today. As you've probably seen, there's a constant flood of these news stories coming out about these tragic cases where these fat acceptance activists are now starting to visit the grave early because they were so deep into the delusion that it was too late to turn back and admit their wrongful thinking and change their toxic habits.
It's unhealthy.
And when Ricardo realizing his entire income would die if his body didn't continue to die as well, there was no turning back for him. And so to this day, he's...
How much more money does he need? Like, dude, you have enough. You have enough, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna keep killing myself, dude. Like, 400 pounds is crazy. You can't even do them. Eventually, he's gonna get to the point where he can't even move. He's gonna be a big meatball in his bed. I gotta be rolled out of bed, washed in the bed. And, you know, that's not no way to live, bro. Like, he needs to watch my 600-pound life. That stuff be scaring me for real. Like, I'd be thinking like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Let me dial back. I'm not even big. I'm kind of small.
Still continues, and it just gets more and more pathetic. In a recent video, he even had a heart attack while filming one of his mukbangs.
What?
Oh my God.
Or so he claimed. It's hard to know what's actually true with this guy. But either way, it's just so incredibly dystopian. He either pushed his body to a limit that could have actually taken his entire life, or he's willing to pretend to have a heart attack to get views, which is almost equally as disturbing. But to an extent, it worked. And within a few years, he's now gained millions of subs and dollars. Videos talking about him have racked up millions of views. And he's become a notable figure in online culture, albeit for almost all the wrong reasons. Morphing into a parody of the 21st century, an icon for the alienated Western lifestyle of living permanently alone, watching people slowly die on camera to escape their ever-present loneliness for 10 minutes, all while we all pretend this insanity is somehow normal. And the sad part is his fan base would never actually support his weight loss. They wanted him to gain more weight and slowly drop to the grave, while at the same time becoming one of YouTube's most hated creators, getting to the point that thousands have actually called for him to be deplatformed. But perhaps one of the biggest issues here was the underlying mental health issues that actually created this mukbang trend in the first place. Even for Ricardo, the physical manifestation of all these problems can really just be sourced down to his mental health issues and his refusal to handle it. Despite making it clear he dealt with depression and bipolar episodes, he only saw these as more of an opportunity to showcase his sad life to his viewers, as the more sad his life was, the more money he makes. And at the end, he did make a lot of money, and he's famous.
6
So much so that
million?
he has a $2.3 million penthouse. Constantly people are talking about him. But was it all worth it? Getting rich while sacrificing your body, soul, and mind for the support of a twisted fanbase? The answer is no, as Ricardo seems to always end these videos crying and alone, just like most of his followers do after they finish their lonely Uber Eats meal with him. But Ricardo's views are clearly more important than his health, and this is a pattern we see with other mukbang creators. One mukbanger in particular would pay the ultimate price for
Okay, so that was Ricardo's story, and I'm not gonna lie, I can't see it getting much worse than that. I think he's the dirtiest, like, or he's the wildest. I don't know, like, he's not even eating the food no more. He just smashing it in his face and doing all that. Like, I don't like that. I ain't gonna lie, I don't like that. And I think, like, when are we gonna be like, okay, he's promoting being fat, like, to a large audience? When are we gonna be like, all right, this might be bad? Like, he's promoting obesity. He's saying, okay, you're fat, that's okay, it's good, keep eating. You know what I'm saying? Let's have health problems together. I think, like, that's what he's promoting. Like, I saw this one girl, like, she, like, was anorexic, and I don't know if it's the same thing. Maybe they're two different things, like being morbidly obese and being anorexic. I feel like that's kind of like just on different sides of the spectrum, but they kind of are the same thing in general. But it was this lady that was anorexic, and she would just do TikTok dances, and she looked like she was about to fall down at any moment. She's like super skinny, and TikTok and I think YouTube or something, they like age restrict her, so like you got to be 18 and older to watch her videos. Like, why don't they do that with the plus size people, the big Mukbang people? You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't they do that with them? Like, I feel like they promoting the same message. Like, both of them things can kill you. Like, I don't know, that's just how I feel.
Taking on this lifestyle. Waffler69 is unfortunately a prime example of what happens when someone centers their entire life around mukbangs. You see, before he became famous on TikTok, Taylor Lejeune had a YouTube channel where he posted various funny videos, though most were centered around him eating a massive amount of food or trying different diets.
Okay.
All he really cared about was making his small, loyal fanbase laugh, something he continued to do even when people would batter him with hate because of his size. Then in 2019, as the hype of TikTok came, he wanted to jump on the bandwagon and finally achieve viral fandom. And he would succeed in doing so, quickly becoming one of the most popular food creators on the app. After the success of his first viral video, he would then begin to dedicate his entire TikTok account to reviewing different foods, keeping his content cheerful and lighthearted, with his reviews never disappointing his fans. And with this, his numbers skyrocketed. He was killing it, and as he did better and better, he would see more money and thus make more of these videos. His particular niche was anything weird, unusually large, and sometimes even expired food. Like the tiny Batman cereal from
Nah, bro. What is wrong with y'all? Y'all gonna eat mold next? Come on, bro. Expired? Hey, that's where I draw the line. I'm not eating no old food. You done lost your mind.
1989. If he was eating regular food, there was usually some sort of twist that was sure to gross out his fans. But his fanbase did admire his willingness to try new things and his passion for food. But as the dishes became more and more bizarre, people started to get worried about his health. How far was he going to go for views? Below the videos in which he reviewed questionable and potentially dangerous foods were many comments from fans warning him against eating expired or suspicious looking foods. However, Taylor, seeing his numbers skyrocket and the money coming in, would never want to listen to these warnings. His ego would push him forward, as he continued to entertain his fans by endangering himself with the food in the videos. Unfortunately, the thing that brought him so much joy and fame would ultimately lead to his demise.
Bacon pickles.
On January 8th, 2023, Taylor uploaded a video of himself eating a giant Fruit Loop that a friend sent him. He followed it up with a video where he dunked the same Fruit Loop into a bowl of cereal before biting into it, and proclaiming that it was much better that way. The video was fun, lighthearted, and thoroughly entertaining like every other video he had posted. There was nothing out of the ordinary, no cause for panic or reason to worry about Taylor's health. However, this would be the last video he would ever post.
I'm related to Waffler69, or my brother Taylor. He has passed away around 10 p.m. on January 11th, 2023, from a presumed heart attack.
Because it turned out Taylor's family suffers from a genetic heart condition that had taken the lives of both his father and grandfather.
Wow.
And after years of putting his body through all of this food, it finally gave up on him. And on January 11th, 2023, Taylor was rushed to the hospital after his mother saw that he couldn't breathe. And less than 2 hours later, Waffle69 passed away at the tragic age of 33. As you saw in the video, his brother Clayton announced Taylor's death to the world and asked him to keep his legacy alive by rewatching his videos and continuing to find laughter where Taylor had tried to inspire it. While trying to have fans enjoy his videos, you can't help but overlook the fact that we have a slow documentary revealing the 33-year-old's inevitable death. It's haunting to watch, but it was one of the first signs that this mukbang lifestyle wasn't just bad for health, but it was—
So did he die because of this like genetic condition on his heart, or do y'all think the food increased it? Like, I'm kind of confused. Is that what happened? Like, did he already have this heart condition that made his heart weak, and then on top of eating all this wild stuff, like it just made it worse and just sped up the process? Or like, was this something that could have happened regardless of him eating or not? Like, I don't know. Like, let me know in the comments. I'm really confused on that. But this is sad. Like, oh my goodness, 33. Don't know how young that is. 33, dude. I feel like that's not still a kid, but I don't know. It ain't that old either.
Was actually a deadly trend, pushing people's bodies to breaking points. And while this next mukbang style might still be around, the damage she's caused is only just revealing itself. You see, Trisha Paytas is one of the most controversial YouTubers around.
I've never heard of her.
Soon after she launched her channel in 2007, a year after YouTube was even made, she discovered that the fastest way to garner views was by trolling the internet, and has been doing so ever since. And after almost 2 decades of being on YouTube, the biggest cause of her controversies wasn't the trolls, the
Are
many
those her
views she
real
got
lips?
in, or even the time she took back the claim that she was a transgender man, although that was the one that caused the loudest uproar. No, her biggest controversy has been her relationship with her weight, specifically the mixed signals she sends her audience. You see, in many of her videos, Trisha was either expressing her love for her curves and treating her weight as something positive that needs to be celebrated, or calling herself fat, commenting on how much she needs to lose weight. And it was these comments that would become problematic when she hopped on the same mukbang trend in 2015. Now, the video started harmlessly, with her feeling inspired by YouTubers like Nakata Avocado and the whole movement that was happening in South Korea at the time. And so she would begin by eating just normal portions of food while discussing her life or sharing her opinions.
Okay.
She'd even occasionally do theme mukbangs featuring different cultures. Unfortunately, the videos soon began to spiral out of control as her eating disorder started to come into play. She would start filming intense diet videos where she would deprive herself of food for days, such as the time she did a 5-day water fast, and would immediately follow them up with back-to-back mukbang videos, during which she'd eat fast food until she was sick. Because this is what the audience wanted. The most extreme videos do the best on YouTube. And after seeing what worked for other mukbang YouTubers, it was only a matter of time before she started destroying herself. I mean, not only was she
And I just realized something. Like, this is like a South Korean thing, the whole mukbang thing. Why are they eating bats and stuff and animals and octopuses? And I know, I mean, I eat octopus. I eat calamari all the time. That's good. But I'm talking about, like, you know, you eating stuff that ain't got no business being eaten, like bats. Ain't that why COVID started? Did y'all want to eat some wild stuff? You know, I know this to South Korea or anybody from South Korea, but I don't know about that one. I'm just letting y'all know that I know.
What? She putting her body through these extremes in a very short period of time that was incredibly harmful to her body, but it was also incredibly damaging to her audience. She inspired many to follow the same as her. She had created a community of like-minded people doing this stuff. Now, she later claimed that she doesn't do what she does for money, but given the fact that she went this extreme for more views, probably suggests that money was a consideration.
Right, what the heck?
Especially given the nature and cost of some of her content, it's almost impossible to believe. Because today, she has over 200 videos dedicated to her binge-eating sessions. She didn't even bother to slow down the mukbang content, as evidenced by a few of the videos she had posted recently. But fans are starting to show concern. As more and more mukbang YouTubers fall dead, the consequences eventually take their toll, and it's becoming clear to many that she is risking not only her own life, but her unborn child's life if she continues down her current
she got
path.
a
But
kid?
she continues to ignore this, stating that she's happy with her choices. But as people start witnessing more and more of this, her fans are turning their back on her, growing tired of her antics, slowly slipping into irrelevancy compared to where she was just a few years ago. And while she still is doing fairly well, and is by no means struggling, she's definitely not doing as well as she once was. I mean, she didn't help her case during the interview she filmed with ABC News in June of 2023, where she confessed that the videos were a lot of pressure and that she felt like she had to one-up herself with every new video she posted. Otherwise, she wouldn't get the views she expected. She spoke of her plans to dial back her eating challenge and keep a close eye on her health, but then she would say she wasn't gonna stop, just like all of these mukbang YouTubers. I don't think I ever want to turn it off. I actually love it so much. If there's 10,000 people watching or 1 million people watching, I think it's exciting.
So is it our fault for watching? Is that what it is? Because she said she not even worried about any of this other stuff. She's like the attention. Oh my goodness, maybe it is our fault. Maybe we need to stop watching this. Have you ever thought about that? I don't know. But you know, I had another thought. How do you like watch somebody doing the same? Okay, let me put it like this. All right, so you work a job, right? You at a factory. You see somebody get their whole arm cut off right in front of you, working on the same machinery as you, like, and doing just something normal, something just goes like crazily wrong, like out of the blue. You see this with your own eyes. Are you gonna proceed to walk in that job the next day? I don't think so. I'm not gonna lie, I quit. If stuff just going wrong like that, just out of the blue, I think I'm good on that. So let me relate that back to this. She's doing the same style of content that multiple people have died from. I think I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at my figure thinking, oh my God, I am getting kind of big. Why would I keep doing this? These people are really dying. Nah, I don't think I want to do that anymore.
showing how far this fat acceptance movement is going in the West, where mukbang videos of people slowly destroying themselves are becoming just part and parcel of the internet.
It's nasty.
Luckily for Trisha, she doesn't just need to do food-centric content. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for mukbang creators who have made food the center of their channels and lives.
Oh my God!
Why?
Food-related content is all they know, and they've become so reliant on it that quitting doesn't feel like a viable option anymore, no matter how unhappy they are or how bad their health is. Many are faced with a difficult choice, their health or their income, and unfortunately most would rather take the easy way out. Case in point, Hungry Fat Chick. Hungry Fat Chick,
That's her
otherwise known
name?
as Candy Godiva, is a popular mukbang YouTuber who launched her channel in 2010. Her food issues began at a very early age, as she went from being starved by her neglectful parents to, in her words, being force-fed by her grandparents, who would reward her good behavior with treats or food. These issues and the grief she began dealing with after her grandmother and mother died are likely what led to her becoming an adult fetish model in 2002. When she launched her YouTube channel in 2010, her sweet personality and great sense of humor almost instantly gained her a huge following, but she wasn't regularly uploading mukbang videos until 2017. But as the trend of mukbangs and fat acceptance became normal, she had to jump on the bandwagon. And in doing so, she started to make a good amount of money and her views were skyrocketing. It seemed like everyone loved her in her audience, and there was nothing to complain about on the surface, but people began to notice that she was never in a good mental space, facing an ongoing battle with depression, grief, and overwhelming feelings of guilt. While she thoroughly enjoys her food, and for the most part seems happy, many of her viewers could see that she wanted more. However, she refused to do anything about it, and was unwilling to listen to people preach about developing a healthier lifestyle. This lifestyle was so ingrained into her, mixed in with her childhood trauma, that it seemed like an impossible wall to break down. But then, after years of seemingly inconsequential poor eating, Candy was faced with reality in February of 2023, after she posted a short video of herself in the hospital explaining that she couldn't upload a mukbang that day, though she was quick to assure her viewers she'd be home in a few days. Her audience began to be terrified for her, as there had been several other mukbang creators who died shortly after being hospitalized, but soon she did thank—
Why did the audience not see anything wrong in, like, when it first started? Why did she gotta be in the hospital to see something wrong? I'm not gonna lie, if your tricep or bicep connects to your forearm, we have a problem. Like, you're too big. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna go out and say it. Somebody needs to tell them. I think that's what it is. I think these people need people to tell them, hey, you're too big. Like, this is not okay. Get your big butt up and go outside and walk. I feel like they need people like that, and not everybody being like, oh, it's okay, move at your own pace, keep eating if you want to, like, it's your body. You know, I think them the people that's really killing you. Like, you mad at me, you want to cancel me, but this lady supporting your habit. It's like you on drugs, and they're like, oh, keep doing drugs. It's okay. It's okay. You deserve these drugs. Like, what? Y'all not gonna accept that, are y'all?
thankfully come back home. In the next video she posted, Candy spoke about how she was ready to make a change in her life and would be going on a 30-day carnivore diet. Fans that had been worried about her health for years were ecstatic. While the challenge had its ups and downs, Candy looked far happier than she had in a long time and was constantly sharing about how much energy she had since she started the diet. Some even remarked that her water cough had disappeared. She started strong, clearing her cupboard of junk food to avoid temptation and only buying groceries that were within the limits of her new diet. Everything seemed to be on the up. It seemed like the shackles of her trauma had disappeared, and this toxic fat acceptance mukbang ideology had dissolved. Suddenly she had so much more energy, and celebrated every time she weighed herself because she successfully lost a few extra pounds. Now and then the cravings would get too much and Candy would slip up, as many of us do, but she kept going, and for the most part she looked like she was starting to enjoy her life, and could see that there was more to it than just food. She felt good about the change she'd made, and started talking about how she no longer wanted food to be the center of her life. A huge move considering her channel was based around mukbangs. Her story was inspiring, and highlighted just how toxic this subculture had become. And as she escaped this horrible lifestyle, she ended up losing 18.7 kilograms. And it seemed like she was well on her way to stopping mukbangs once and for all, focusing all of her attention on her own health. But because her audience only knows her for these mukbang videos, they were begging for this content to come back. All the money was there on the table for her, all the views and fame, but she decided to continue being a healthier person, never letting these comments hold her progress down.
That's what I'm talking about.
On the support she received from the viewers on her second channel. Still, it soon became apparent that Candy was missing the regular stream of income, and the lack of views in her weight loss video was starting to get get to her. I mean, when your primary source of income disappears unexpectedly, it can be incredibly disheartening and such a scary situation to be in. But Candy was determined to find a new side hustle rather than take the easy way out and poison her body. Hoping to give her audience what they wanted without compromising her lifestyle choices, she began creating content that proved detrimental to her progress, where she started reacting to her old mukbang videos. She was missing the food she used to eat, but she stuck with her new eating habits all through October, maintaining her weight and continuing to garner support from her community. But everything came to a head when someone stole her package. Frustrated with her current financial pressure and the sudden lack of income, along with her slow YouTube growth, and Candy eventually returned to things that had brought her comfort for years.
Oh my god.
Her audience immediately began encouraging her to continue her weight loss journey, sharing their own weight loss journeys and telling her that a small amount of weight gain was normal. But Candy wouldn't hear it. It came down to a choice between prioritizing health, beauty, and long-term success, or running a short burst of higher income and poisoning her body with this disgusting mukbang culture, building an audience that promotes this. Unfortunately, she chose the latter. While people are concerned for her and understand she slipped up, not many of her supportive viewers will stick around to watch her throw her life away again. She was on the right path, she saw the light and chucked it away. And Candy was always honest and real with her audience. That's why people loved her. But when there's an audience to tap into and money to make, it seems all too tempting, even though in the end, this path leads to disastrous consequences. And knowing the health implications of this, and yet the money you can make with mukbang videos, fakers are starting to try and come into this world, promoting the mukbang lifestyle, all whilst doing the complete opposite in their real life. In fact, faking mukbangs has become a regular thing now. When you look at people like Nakado Avocado and Hungry Fat Chick, it's very easy to see the physical and mental effects of the content they're putting out there. But then there's the other side of the mukbang community.
You know, I was thinking that. I don't want to say anything, but I was wondering, like, I don't know if the South Asian or South Korean people that they're showing in this video, like, are just, like, have super fast metabolisms or just aren't eating the same amount, but they were pretty skinny. Like they weren't eating at all. Like, who are they fooling?
And this is probably the most dangerous content of all. Fairly slim people eating this ridiculous amount of food, promoting to the world fat acceptance, hedonistic greed, stuffing your face.
They're
all while
scamming.
completely deceiving their audience and keeping up a false beauty standard that isn't achievable when you gorge on slop like this. A primary example of this is Zach Coy. Before becoming famous for his food content, Zach was a model and fashion blogger who commented on the different trends he encountered while living in LA. When he eventually created his YouTube channel in 2018, he started gaining popularity through his beautifully presented and neat videos, and he would maintain this popularity on platforms like Instagram and TikTok, where his aesthetically pleasing cooking videos garnered even more attention. It just seemed perfect. Just as TikTok was blowing up, so too was the mukbang trend. These two together, and Zach with his looks found instant success. Maybe it was too good to be true, because as of recently, his fans have been suspicious of the legitimacy of his content. You see, in the 6 years that he's been active on social media, Zach has filmed and released over 1,100 videos on his channel, yet he's always maintained his figure somehow. Now, while more hardcore fans have argued that this is because he has a rigorous exercise routine or a fast metabolism, people who understand calories don't believe this at all, as many suspect that Zach is swallowing the food he shows on camera and then likely purges it once the cameras are off, a practice that has become very common for a large portion of mukbang creators, which inadvertently promotes even more eating disorders. And the suspicions might have been confirmed when a former employee of Zach anonymously posted on Reddit to expose how he was running things behind the scenes. They wrote, "Zach vomits every meal in order to stay thin. Zach is fooling his naive and ignorantly young audience of millions across the globe. He is making millions of dollars capitalizing of young people's lack of awareness to realize that Zach is evil, gluttonous, fake, and a liar. The feds need to investigate Zach for his crimes against humanity and illegally making money on the back end. Zach is not even his real name. He's obviously doing some shady crap to hide his evil crimes. The FBI, CIA, and FDA, along with Homeland Security and DOJ, need to work together to stop Zach from causing more destruction and eating disorders around the world," end quotes. And Zach's case wasn't helped when another YouTuber did her part to expose many mukbang creators by demonstrating just how easy it is for them to fake their videos. In the video, she explains that fake overeating mukbangs are dangerous because of how they affect the eating habits of their viewers, especially the ones who are watching those kinds of videos late at night and are encouraged to have a snack or two, promoting fat acceptance worldwide. All while
and that's where I disagree. You know, hey, ain't no way you watch these mukbang videos and be like, oh, I'm hungry now. Like, especially the Nico avocados, that make you lose your appetite. Seeing that, but with me personally, I'm sorry, I've never seen him eat anything and be like, oh, I'm hungry now. I've actually been starving and turned on one of his videos and been like, oh, thank you, I'm not hungry anymore.
They do the opposite, saying that fat people are beautiful, all whilst doing everything they can to avoid being fat in the first place. And if what this Redditor says is true, Zach is not only causing himself incredible harm that could come back to bite him in the future, but he's also shamelessly deceiving his entire audience into believing that overeating is acceptable. With these suspicions about him floating around, it seems like his fanbase is slowly dying out, and the only content he's posted in the last few years has been reruns of his old mukbangs. At this point, he doesn't even seem to be putting any effort into his videos, milking his channel dry to the bone to make as much money as possible. But Zach's not the only mukbanger who lies to his audience, but at least he targets people who should be mature enough to recognize the way he's eating isn't sustainable, nor should it be copied. Unfortunately, some other mukbang creators have no issue targeting a younger, much more naive audience.
That's
Donna
weird.
is a South Korean mukbang channel that features two women who try various colorful foods. These foods are often unhealthy, such as giant pieces of candy, or just very odd combinations. The channel has gained a lot of popularity in recent years.
32
and is currently
million?
sitting on 32.3 million subscribers, an insane feat for a channel with only 170 videos, though it's important to note that they deleted almost all of their videos back in 2020. Why? But while the channel looks mostly harmless with its fun colors, cute animations, cheerful hosts, and upbeat music, the issue comes in when you realize they're trying to encourage children to watch mukbangs, promoting obesity, greed, and hedonism to a global audience of children. Of course, most kids aren't ever capable of discerning what is real and what is fake, and given that many adults are naive enough to believe that mukbangers finish everything on their plates, these food-centric internet personalities won't have any trouble tricking children. And as more and more kids become iPad kids, they will go on YouTube Kids and watch this charming host eat a whole bunch of unhealthy, colorful food without experiencing any seemingly consequences. It just looks like pure fun. Nothing bad here to see. It's not like these people are dying. This is all hidden behind the camera. And with the fat acceptance movement spreading across the West, this stuff's becoming more and more acceptable to children. And so
That looked like it was just candy though. Can you? Well, you probably can't get obese from candy, can you? I don't think so. I think your teeth would just fall out, but I don't know if I see anything terribly wrong with that. I don't think they're promoting obesity. They're just eating candy. That's how I'm looking at it, but I don't really know much about them.
Not only will these kids watch these people and want to eat like the people in these videos, but when their bodies start reacting appropriately, it will eventually lead to obesity, heart issues, mental health problems, anxiety, and a shortened lifespan, ruining these children's lives to fit in with the progressive agenda. Worse so, channels like Donna have become a gateway to other mukbang content. Donna's videos aren't very long and they post infrequently. Once a child runs out of content, they'll start looking for similar videos, and if their parents aren't keeping an eye on what they're watching, that child can very easily stumble onto a very dangerous and inappropriate side of the internet. Children who watch mukbangs will often develop bad habits. They'll see grown adults eating messily, grabbing for food without restraint, and start replicating it when eating their own meals. So whatever you do, mukbang videos need to stop. It is cancerous to the world and poisoning children.
Is that it? Oh my god, that's it. I don't know. This thing is, I think it is bad. Let me just say that. It's bad. Like, all for it. It's not okay, especially the way some of these people are doing it. It's blatant eating disorders, blatant mental disorders, blatant all this. And I think it's weird how, like, these big corporations and sites pick and choose what they want to push forward and what they want to get off their site. You know, I think you got to keep it the same. If you're gonna, like, make a line, keep that line straight all the way through. If something is bad, it's the same thing that gotta go for everything else. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. But I think they are just slowly killing themselves. Like, that's what it's come down to. They like, you're not gonna live much longer doing this. I'm sorry, you're getting too big. If you're 600 pounds, that's why they have shows like that like, and they have surgeries to help you do weight loss when you're that big, because like, you will really die if you get any bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. And then I think it's like, this is just with obesity, like, it's morbidly obese people. I might have said this point before, but I think it's ignorant to put the people that grew up with you and your family and stuff in that situation, because now somebody got to take care of you because you can control your eating. No, I'm good on that. You know what I'm saying? You want me to, well, bathe you because you're too big? Nah, that ain't it. So that's just how I feel about that side. But like, as far as like Mukbang and it influencing the kids, I don't know. Like, I don't know how anybody can watch these videos and be like, that's something I want to do. But maybe that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I've never been like I think it hurts. Like, it hurts to eat that much to me. Like, I've tried stuffing myself before and it hurts like for a long time. You know, like, it's not a good feeling. So I don't know how someone just keeps eating and eating and eating until their body just expands and it becomes a habit. Like, I think it's something up here that we need to fix, not so much like in here. I think if you fix this up here, eventually this down here will fix, you know. That's just my opinion. So I don't know, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, how do y'all feel about mukbang YouTubers? Do y'all think they should be purged from the site? Do y'all think they should be allowed and be glorified and put on the pedestal? Y'all let me know in the comments. Y'all know if y'all just video, make sure to subscribe. You know, we're at 10,000 subscribers, and hit that like button, because I don't know, just hit it. If you like the video, it makes sense to hit that like button. Do it not? I don't know. I don't like mukbang YouTubers. We gone.